Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your very first time here. My name is Troy, and today I'm going to be sharing the 67th update to the Anyone Can Invest portfolio. I don't know if kids are doing that these days, but I just did it, so there's that. Anyway, if you guys are brand new here and have no idea what the Anyone Can Invest portfolio is, simply put, when I first started dividend investing, I got tired of scrolling around on YouTube and finding a bunch of portfolios with thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in them, and I couldn't find anybody that just showed me where they started and how they built that portfolio. So I made my own. I've been tracking the results bi-weekly for the last 2+ years and sharing them right here on the channel. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys subscribe, click the like button to let me know to keep making these videos. But without further delays, let's go ahead and see where we left off last episode. All right, and looking right here, this is the screenshot of last episode where we left off, like I just said. So I put in the red boxes, some of the important information here. Obviously, some of you guys might be interested in what the companies are. If it's your first time here, how many shares of those companies I have. But what I want to call out is the cost basis total. So we had a goal last episode to get every stock as close to $335 as possible. Again, for anybody new here, I do $5 into each and every stock every other week. So I try to keep them all balanced. The drip of the dividends being reinvested is turned off. So I pull that money until I get a bonus investment. More on that a little bit later. So on the far right is the total gain and loss. You guys will be able to see all the stocks, how much they're up total, how much they're down total, and also the percentage gain if you're interested in that. Down at the very bottom, the small box is $4,612.91. That was the portfolio value as of last week. Even though when I'm referencing last episode was recorded 1 week late because I lost my voice. As you guys can hear, my voice should sound a little bit better. But that data was from 2 weeks ago. So this is, I got all this information yesterday, which at the time of recording was the 24th of July, 2026. So last one on the far right is the total portfolio was up $574.83 or 14.32% last episode. So then here's the deployment screenshot. Again, down at the very bottom, $60 invested, $5 or as close as I do an automatic investment of $5. And what you see here with all these random numbers is whatever Fidelity decides to put into these stocks. And then at the very top, you can see I actually had to even out Humana and Intuit because they were both more than $1 off of where I wanted them to be. So I was able to put a little bit of money into those. Again, I triggered both of those for over $1, and that's what it invested. So I don't know how it works like that, but there it is. So again, here is the balance. With this week's episode 67, we have a goal of $340 per company. We are sitting, you can see that current amount, we're sitting within a balance, aka the difference we are is less than $1 because again, I can't invest anything under $1. So if it's under $1, within the range, we're good. So next up, so I have two charts I'm going to share. I'm going to share them one at a time right here. So this one is the typical one I share, the episode over episode momentum chart. This will show the ticker. Last episode where we sat as far as like how much that stock was up or down all time. This episode where we sit as far as how much that stock is up or down all time. And then the percent gain or I guess the percent change between those two. This one's just kind of crazy to me, as I always say, like how much a company can change just like in my total portfolio in just a 2-week period. So again, the red ones, obviously we've gone down in value over the last 2 weeks. The green ones, which is 80 or, is 10 out of the 12 stocks are up, which is good to see. And it 1.72% for Humana being down. That's whatever. AVGO, Broadcom's down almost 10% over the past 2 weeks, just in my portfolio, which is nuts. But we do have like, STLD was up over 12%. Dillard's was up over 9%. AbbVie was up over 5%. So some of those are kind of crazy to look at too. This next chart, I stopped sharing this many episodes ago, but I find this one super interesting. So this is my cost basis and like how much the value of these stocks to me, like when I bought them. So it'll show you episode 1, like what I very first bought the stock for, where it was last episode at episode 66. I always keep this data. I just don't share with you guys because I'm not trying to get too far in the weeds. But yeah, then episode 67. So you guys can look at that if you want to. But the difference between last episode and this episode, the far right column is the one I'm most interested in. Obviously, some of these are, up $1, down $1, whatever. In this case, being down, I have is good because that means I lowered my cost basis. Obviously, that means the stock is probably down. But The one that blew my mind when I was updating it this week was Intuit. So I bought it at $603.75. INTU, for anybody that doesn't know the stock ticker for Intuit. Bought it at $603.75. At last episode, it was at $566.14. I did a $5 buy, and I think that's actually one of the ones where I added like an extra dollar, so technically like $6-ish. And it went down basically $9 in cost basis. That just shows you how much that stock is down for me, that a single $5, $6 investment lowered our cost basis by $9 is nuts. Obviously, this one's my big, we're going to see. I think it's my biggest loser. So it's helps that it's down so much that it's lowering it so much. But I just thought that was nuts that a little investment like that could lower my cost basis that much, which in the long run will be a good thing. Trust me. So next up is this chart. I don't know why I can never get this thing to play on my side. But so this is a lifetime momentum. So this is what we just showed you guys with each individual stock and how they're up and how they're down. Again, I'm not going to, try to make this take forever. But this is the episode over episode ebbs and flows. There it is. You guys should do a little drinking game. Every time I say ebbs and flows in this series, you guys take a shot. Obviously not if you're at work, and maybe not during the day. So maybe watch these videos at night. I don't know, how you do you anyway, but anyway, yeah, this chart just shows like how much these stocks have gone up and how much they've gone down over time. I just think it's cool to look at it in motion. It's better than looking at a stagnant chart. In my opinion. So next up, this is the best and worst performer. So this is basically a screenshot of where the portfolio sits today, and it also highlights and outlines the stock that's doing the best and the stock that's doing the worst. So as per usual, these days, AVGO Broadcom is my best performer. I have almost 1.6 shares, $339.76 invested, average cost basis of $212.88. This stock is up $269.78 or 79.4%. The biggest loser, like I just alluded to, is Intuit or INTU. I have 0.61 shares, and that's just due to the cost, like how much this one costs per share. I have $339.87 invested in this one. So literally, what is that? 11 cents more than what I have invested in Broadcom, which I said as close as I can get. Average cost basis of $557.16. It is the biggest loser. Like I just said, it's down $159.11 or 46.82%, which is nuts. That's how we get that big drop in cost basis, because we're down almost half the value, which is kind of crazy. So in total, here's the thing down at the bottom that's really, really cool too. This is a record value for the portfolio. We're $2 short of $4,800 in this portfolio. So we're at $4,798.32. This portfolio is also, 45 cents away from being up $700 in gains, and we're up 17.17%. So I love to see all of that stuff. This next chart, this is the numbers that I was just telling you about, like how well this portfolio in general is doing. This is basically that, so you guys can see the total portfolio and how it's gone up in the ebbs and flows. Take another one. The ebbs and flows of the total portfolio since I've had it, right? So obviously you guys can see, I like putting this one's even cooler in motion because it literally shows you like there's been highs and lows. I've actually hit the negative a bunch of times in this portfolio, and now we're trending in the right direction. We're the highest the portfolio's ever been in terms of value and stuff like that. So we love to see all of that stuff. So since last episode, or I guess since 2 weeks ago, we've only received one dividend. I actually alluded to it in last week's episode. We have the July 17th dividend received from none other than Intuit, our biggest loser. We received 69 cents. Nice. And looking at this chart, you guys can see that July 17th, 2026, 69 cents that came in, and it's higher. You guys will look at that chart. There's not going to be one that's lower than the previous. Every single dividend, not only because I'm adding money to this portfolio, or this position rather, but it also, I have dividend raises that are coming in. Actually, more on that. I have a question for you guys on that one, but in total, Intuit's now paid us $3.27 or 4.15% of the total dividends received in this portfolio. So next up, we're going to round that number into our July numbers so far and check it out right here. I blurred out everything to make it not as busy. If you guys do want to see this whole portfolio, like maybe this is the one chart that you guys want to see all the data on, just let me know down in the comments. But I highlighted July so you guys can see the first year I started, July was 76 cents. Last year was $2.47. And this July, we're already up to $2.64, which is 6.9% higher than last July. And we still have, I think, 1 or 2 more dividends left to come this month. So that's really exciting news. I also kept the quarter sum in here. For quarter 3 of the first year we had it was $2.34. So just look at that real quick. July of this year, we made $2.64. Quarter 3 of the first year we did this, we made $2.34. So we just made more so far in July of this year, the third year, than we did in all of the first year we did it. So that's just a cool thing to look at there, really showing the growth. Quarter 3 of 2025 of last year was $6.76. And obviously, it's the first month of the quarter. We're at $2.64, 60.9% off of what our quarter 3 total was last year. Sorry if that was confusing. I'll try not to make it confusing next time. But in total, we're now up to $39.06 for the year so far, $3.26 per month, 11 cents per day, and it's already 20.3% higher than what we made in all of 2025. And like I said, we're not done with July, and obviously the rest of the year hasn't happened yet. So I'm super, super excited to see how high we set this bar. I feel like $50 should be super easy to get to, maybe $60. We'll see. Maybe we can just double up 2025. That'd be pretty cool too. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Next up is the bonus investment. So this is one of the things I want to ask you guys. So this right here tracks the current patty, which is $44.15. Bi-weekly, that comes out to, that's for the year, $44.15. So $1.70 is bi-weekly if you just divide that by 26. Current cash in the portfolio sits at $24.19. Our previous bonus investment date, aka our first bonus investment date, was January 9th, 2026. Our new one is now projected for May 31st, 2027. We've been bouncing back and forth between May 17th and May 31st of 2027 for seemingly, I don't know, down here at the bottom, it actually shows you, since episode 62, literally just bouncing back and forth. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm due for some dividend raises from these companies, and I have been doing a really good job of like making sure that we're in balance pretty much every episode. So I am, spending some of that cash to keep us in balance. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie if I'm not a little annoyed that we haven't finally broken through May of 2027 yet. But you guys can let me know down in the comments what you think about that. I'm obviously it's not gonna change anything I'm doing, but I was expecting, by now we've been touching May since episode 62. I was like, oh, surely we're gonna be, sniffing some April a little bit, maybe a really good episode of touching March or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it's a little annoying. So maybe you guys can see with this blue chart. You guys, maybe we'll have an episode or something where we can go way below the trend line again. I don't know. As long as we're following the trend line and it gets faster and faster over time, I guess that's all that matters. But nonetheless, I did want to share that with you guys and just ask your guys, point of view and opinion or whatever. So actually, I didn't pull this up once again. I feel like it's like every other episode I remember to do it. But so right here, this is the July calendar. I think I might put them both on the screen for you guys at the same time. So you guys can see I took this picture on the 24th. We have ALG's dividend coming in on the 29th. And Humana's dividend coming on the 31st of July. Both of those will happen between now and next episode. And then I think the Dillard's dividend over in August will happen. And maybe even the MasterCard dividend, because I think the next video is going to come out like the 10th-ish. The weekend of the 10th, I should say, of August. So we'll have 4 dividends to talk about next episode, which is really cool. I'm not going to go over the earnings and stuff. This video is already too long. Let me see if there's any ex-dividend dates. No, I don't see any ex-dividend dates. So yeah, we have 4 dividends that are coming between now and next episode. I'm super excited to see. Next episode is going to be closing out July, obviously kicking off August. So it'll be cool to see where our July numbers finished and where our August numbers are starting off at. But nonetheless, again, I appreciate you guys so much for continuing to watch this series. It does seem like it's picking up a little bit of momentum and interest from you guys. Like I said, we're already up to almost $4,800 in this portfolio, which is now getting to the point of what I was talking about when I introed this series of like thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the good news is I have every episode going back to the very first investment in this portfolio. So if you're ever bored, interested, or nosy, whatever it is, you're ever looking into that stuff, you guys will be able to go back and watch every single episode, see if my editing got any better, my talking got any better, the data, how it's changed, and also just see how consistency matters in investing. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys aren't subscribed, do that. If you guys want to leave a like, do that. If you guys have anything to ask me or say, or you like, whatever you want to talk about down in the comments, do that in the comments. But until next time, see ya.